$12,383.03. That's how much money I've spent on Star Citizen. Apparently, this number, over 10 years, mind you, means I have sunk cost fallacy. At least according to some people that saw my last video and decided to judge me in the comments. I've spent too much money on Star Citizen, therefore I'm trapped, and I have to keep spending over and over again, or else all my money was wasted. Except that there's a pretty big problem with the sunk cost argument when it comes to this game. That's not how I think about money at all, and that motivational framing is everything. I should start with this video is intended to be pretty lighthearted. Every video I make is one I want to, and I usually get something out of it. I like the exercise of just sitting down with a blank Word doc and exploring what I think. It can go all over the place. I'm not angry, and maybe that makes you angry to hear it. It's probably why a lot of you cope by calling me AI. I've been on YouTube for 9 years. That's easier than dealing with what I have to say when you can just pretend it's not authentic. There's always a complaint from my voice to my writing style, which is on brand for this video, and apparently how I spend my money is up for review too. First, a couple clarifications from the last video, because when money's involved, people get emotional and hear vastly different things. I said this represented less than 1% of our combined household income over roughly 10 years. Somehow that became he makes $1 million a year. No. Two adults each making something in the low 60,000s, which is the median salary in the US, would earn well over $1 million combined over a decade. That's the scale I was talking about. $12,000 sounds enormous as a lump sum, and it is, but spread across 10 years, it was around $100 a month. It wasn't a flex, and I certainly didn't write CIG a $12,000 check. I doubt I've ever spent more than $300 on this game in a single purchase. By posting all that, I'm opening myself up to every fucking loser that wants to take their shot at me. Whatever, that's YouTube, and I accept that because I'm playing the game. Sunk cost fallacy requires the money that you spent to influence the decision that you're making now. That's the textbook definition. Analogies are tough on YouTube because half the population struggles mightily when it comes to abstract thinking. But imagine I bought a ticket to a terrible movie, I'm an hour into it, I hate every second of it, and I just want to leave. But I sit there for another hour because I already paid $20 for the ticket. That's not abstract, I guess, because I felt that way at every Jurassic Park sequel I got dragged to this century, and I couldn't leave because my wife was enjoying it. Actually, that's not sunk cost fallacy either, that's marriage. Happy wife, happy life, and all that. Anyway, that $20 is gone no matter what, so staying doesn't get it back. In a sunk cost scenario, I'd be sacrificing another hour of my life trying to justify the money that can't be recovered. So then, an irrecoverable cost from the past is influencing the decision I'm making right now. If I looked at a new Star Citizen ship and thought, well, fuck, I'm already in $12,000, I guess I have to buy this one too, or everything I spent before now is pointless, then congrats. You got me. That would be a pretty good example of how it works. But that's not how I roll. If I see something I like, be it a ship, a cool pair of Cyberpunk branded sunglasses, or that R2 unit that they had at the Home Depot of all places, and I want it, then I'll buy it. That's it. I know that's considerably less interesting than the psychological prison people seem to want me trapped inside, but life can be that mundane sometimes. I have disposable income, as do most working adults. Sometimes CIG makes something I really like and I decide I want it in my account. Most of the time they make something I don't give a shit about and I don't buy it. I don't see a reason to own 10 or more light fighters when I can only fly one at a time. And I've talked before about hating ship reviews, so I have no other incentive to collect any ship that I'm not going to personally use either. I saw someone in the comments talk about consumerism and how, oh my god, I'm the problem and I'm terrible because of it and blah blah blah. Dude, you only get 6 to 8 decades typically, if you're lucky, but in that time you can do whatever you want and still have all the experiences that you want to have as well. I have 40 years of life experience and almost half of that was back when reading was a thing. I've read most of the Star Wars EU, hell, I've read Chuck Palahniuk too. I get the argument. I just question anyone that looks at the world through the plot of Fight Club as an ethos. That might shock you. I don't own every ship, even though there's a financial incentive with YouTube to do so. I've never wanted to own every ship. I'm sure there's ships I couldn't identify if you put them in the lineup. After all, there's over 200 of them now, including all the variants. There's no little voice in my head saying you've come this far, you can't stop now, which all the trolls gleefully imagine must be the case, right? God forbid I spend my money in the way I want, and worse, I didn't have the decency to ask you for permission. Fuck. Two things can be true at the same time, which is heresy in today's polarized environment. I know. When I buy a ship, that money helps fund development of a game that I want to exist. I'm perfectly happy saying that. It's one of the reasons I've never been particularly bothered by spending money here versus spending it on something else. But even that isn't sunk cost. There's something that I value about the purchase today. If I buy a ship because I like the ship, and also that some portion of that money goes towards keeping development going by keeping people employed, those are both present tense reasons for making the purchase. You can think they're stupid reasons, and if the unimportant opinions of people I'll never know in person bothered me, I wouldn't have made the video. Express it in a decent way and you're welcomed here. But if you go out of your way to insult me, I'll moderate it. I don't tolerate that toxic shit in my comments. Then there's this group of dismissive Star Citizen buzzwords. Copium, hopium, sunk cost, cult, scam. Sometimes there are legitimate ideas hiding underneath those words, but they're increasingly thrown at us to avoid engaging with what somebody else is saying. And if I tell you why I think the project is improving, you say copium. If I tell you why I'm optimistic about something later, hopium. If I tell you I've spent $12,000 and I'm still happy supporting it, sunk cost. None of those words require you to rebut anything I said. You've just assigned me a motivation I'm supposedly incapable of recognizing myself, and now the conversation's over. You win. And that's the real hubris of it all. You don't get to tell me why I bought something when I'm sitting right here telling you why I bought it. I put it on the screen, I disclosed it. I've been more open than any YouTuber in this space about what I've spent, what my motivations are on YouTube, and my own capture status when it comes to the game. At some point, you have to accept that I know my own motivations better than you do. Oh, but this dismissive line of thinking doesn't have to stop at money. I've been a backer for 10 years, therefore I only keep playing because I've already invested 10 years according to the same people. That could be true for someone, sure. If you hate Star Citizen or you're upset with the state of the game, I get it. Maybe you dread logging in. Maybe none of your friends are playing anymore, you think the game has gone in a direction that you can't stand. Or if the only reason you keep launching it is because you've already spent 10 years waiting for it, yeah, I'll probably tell you to fucking uninstall the thing, right? Take a break. I've made those videos saying that you should do it too. Up until last year, it wasn't uncommon for me to pop in and check on a patch a few days and then disappear back into my life for months at a time. But then something changed. Star Citizen became a game that you could play pretty regularly, and I was having fun. This channel's turn to Star Citizen content is a result of that. It reflects my interest and personality. There's something here that I can say I like and then watch as people tell me how much they dislike that I like that. It's fascinating behavior. I'll concede that there probably are Star Citizen backers experiencing actual sunk cost. I don't know why there wouldn't be. This community is huge. There's 6 million accounts, and there are people who have spent considerably more money than I have. I can absolutely imagine somebody who hates the direction of the project but keeps putting money into it because stopping would force them to confront what they've already spent. But again, you have to assume that motivation without knowing it, and that's not fair either unless they directly say it. That's why I think the whole argument is lazy when it gets thrown at every long-term Star Citizen backer. You can't diagnose sunk cost by opening up somebody's hangar and adding up the ships. God, if it were only that simple, right? There's actually a really easy thought experiment about this for me. If Cloud Imperium announced tomorrow that Star Citizen's development was ending, would I feel like I needed to spend another dollar to somehow rescue the $12,000 I already spent? Fuck no, that would be so stupid. Even today, every dollar I spent is gone. It's just a number on the screen, not unlike the in and out statement on my monthly bank statements. It's not cash anymore, it's not something I wish I had back. Now, there's no way I wouldn't be really disappointed, let's get that clear. I definitely make videos about it, I have some serious questions about what happened, but that money is already gone, and it was the moment I clicked purchase. I understood that when I spent it. There's no magical future version of Star Citizen where Chris Roberts mails me $12,000 back because the game finally reached 1.0. Come on. It's a good lesson because it's true for every purchase you make in your life. Some of you in the comments, you're going out of your way to pretend that you don't know that. What I got for that money happened along the way. I got ships. I got 10 years of playing something I'm interested in with thousands of hours of playtime. I got stupid nights with friends. I got moments where the game completely broke and we laughed about it. I got moments where everything worked and I couldn't believe a game was doing this. And eventually, I got an entire YouTube channel out of talking about the thing that I like. None of that means every purchase was smart. I guarantee you I bought shit in this game that I would not buy again. That's life. But I don't need every purchase that I've made to be retroactively vindicated before I can decide whether the next one appeals to me. And look, I mean, the truth is, it's just That's not going to happen. I think that's where all the vitriol comes from. You can't hate your way into this game disappearing. I did an audit of all the other Star Citizen channels in this space and found something interesting. The ones focused on hating the game have zero growth. None. Very few people subscribe to them in general, but especially relative to their video count. They make video after video on the same topics, some of them a few times a day, but no one takes action to hit subscribe. It's telling. Even the biggest negative YouTuber we all know's growth over the last year has been absolutely flat on this platform. Maybe negativity can become its own sunk cost. Think about it. And who knows, maybe someday I'll quit Star Citizen. Maybe CIG changes the game into something I don't want anymore. Maybe development finally takes one turn too many, and I decide that's it, I'm fucking done. The day came when I rarely logged into Star Wars Galaxies when it was live. I loved that game more than anything. But it's inevitable. Whatever happens, it won't be because I spent money on this over 10 years, it's going to be based on how I'm feeling in the moment. And look, you can still think $12,000 spent on spaceships is insane. It just means we have different value systems. I can say confidently I already got my money's worth because I'm the only one that can judge that. And yeah, I'm happy. If that makes you seethe, then I'm even happier. We all win. See you in the verse.